Thank you, Rick, and thank you for the privilege of being on this team and to talk to you today about my story. I'm a 60s kid. That makes me a hippie. Some of you can relate to that. A bit of a rebel, you know, sign, everywhere a sign, blocking out the scenery, breaking my mind. That's me. So I'm not afraid to challenge the system. You know, I'm not afraid to, I'm not accepting the status quo. So that works for me. I also grew up in the shadow of Kennedy and the mantra of ask not what your country can do for you, but what you can do for your country. So duty is very strong in my family. My father also started with very little, and he had some demons, but he faced those demons through hard work and discipline, perseverance, and determination, and he became very successful. And he passed those values on to me. So hard work and determination I learned in spades. So the fact that change is hard does not frighten me. He also taught me the responsibility of gifts. That to those that, to whom much is given, much is expected. And I was given the gifts of excelling at academics. He didn't. He was grateful to get through college with a 2.0. He needed that to graduate. I think he had a 2.04. He has no idea where I got my brains, but I just happened to have that gift. But he said, you have that gift and you must give back. That was, again, that duty, that sense of duty was ingrained in us, and that you must give with that duty. I also grew up my elementary school years and junior high school years just outside Washington. So those of you that might remember the early 70s, the Vietnam War demonstrations, nowadays we do demonstrations, it might be a 3-hour march, maybe a really big one might be all day. Well, they flat knew how to do demonstrations back in the 70s. They moved in. It was 3 days. They brought tents. They were naked. It was make love, not war back then. I was impressed. I was 12. It was very impressive, the power of organizing back then. So when they came to me and said, do you want to, figure out how to harness this power of organizing? I was like, yeah, I want that power on my side. So that has led me to where I am today, that I would like to figure out how can we organize, how can we harness that power of leadership and organizing to change things in South Carolina. It bothers me that so many of our children don't graduate from high school in South Carolina, that as many as a third of our kids are illiterate, that we don't get all of our kids immunized, that our second leading cause of death is colon cancer, and that most of that is preventable, and that as many as half of our people who are eligible for screening don't get screened. It just bothers me. And we heard today that as many as 20% of our admissions are related to medication errors, and that as many as 20% of Medicare folks get readmitted within 30 days because of systems issues. So as I say to myself every day, and as I say to you all, to those that much is given, much is expected.